Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back to the Mandem. We are back with another episode, a match review for what went down at Old Trafford. 4-3 is what the scoreline was. Unexpected but enthralling. A match which no one expected would take this turn. United coming back with two remarkable and fantastic counter-attacking goals in the latter 15 minutes of the extra time. Liverpool looked totally knackered and out of gas. But I have my main man Kishon here. He is the 4-3-3 presser, the Man United guy. He is going to describe his feelings, what he went through whilst watching the match, and we'll give a constructive review. Kishon, the stage is for you, man.
Hey, listen, thanks for having me on. And great victory by my team today. Great victory. And listen, before this game, we did a preview together on my channel, and I'm just trying to jog back my memory. And I remember saying, well, asking you if seeing that United will be playing at home, will that give us the advantage? And I think you alluded to that it would have given us the advantage. And I think the crowd was behind the team today. And I think the team picked themselves up today, right? And
Yep.
they galvanized themselves despite being down, because playing against a team like Liverpool, essentially when Liverpool is one goal up or two goal up, then you're thinking to yourself, this is the end, especially seeing how we've played across the season. But listen, we got the first goal, Scott McTominay, and I'm saying to myself, this can be the day. But then Liverpool, they come back with two goals, one from Mohamed Salah as well as McAllister, which was a deflection. And then, we go into the second half. And honestly, I don't know what your opinion is, but I think that United deserved to win today. I think for moments in the game and periods, we were the better team. Um, I saw where we had Liverpool pinned in their 18-yard box. You know what I'm saying? And other than the goals that Liverpool scored from Harvey Elliott, McAllister, and Salah, I really can't remember anything in which you guys created where I was like, that should have been a goal or anything like that. The only situation I remember was this 5v2 where Liverpool had five players and we had two defenders back, and I was saying to myself, well, this is a goal now because they're hitting us on the transition, and I think we defended well against that. And yeah, I think we nullified Liverpool today, and it was a great victory by United.
Yeah, I hear you, and I actually agree with you completely. It took me a while to accept the fact that Man United were more cutthroat in their chances. I think what I saw from the game was Liverpool were able to control the ball better in the first 90 overall. I know you guys were really immense in the first 20, 30 minutes off the ball and on the ball as well. I think um, Endo, McAllister were literally nullified by McTominay and, by your other midfielder in major phases. I think Kobe Mainu, man, in the first 10 minutes, the way he was driving inside the box, the way they were overloading, they knew that Gomez and Konsa are going to be weak against Rashford's pace. And Van Bissaka, I don't know what really happened to him. He came back from injury. I was expecting him to have a really underwhelming effect in the first couple of minutes, but no, he was causing chaos and triangles in near the final third. Um, and Gomez and Konsa were totally lackluster. They were caught napping in certain positions, and Van Dijk had to fill in for them. And that's how you scored the first goal for Scott McTominay too. I think Kelleher stepped up. My man, my keeper, superb performance. I think a similar performance to what Alisson would have given. I think for the goal against Rashford, which he was caught against standing still in that moment. I get it. The transitioning was too quick. Darwin Nunez lost the ball. McTominay passed it down to Rashford and he scored a goal. But Kelleher could have stepped up, could have at least shifted his body weight. I couldn't see him doing anything. But overall, you're right. The United had the better game. I agree. You had the better chances. You had an XG of 3.92. And we can clearly see that Rashford missed one major chance, 1v1. He converted the other one. Um, Plenty of 1v1s for you. Chances which were more uh, convincing, and players did turn up for you for sure. But with Liverpool, I felt the chances were there, but they were more of half chances. And I think our touches in the final box were more. They were more out of open play. And you'll be amazed to hear this. Liverpool have not scored a counter-attacking goal in the last 1.5 or 2 seasons. The last time we had a counter-attacking opportunity was that 5v um, one situation against you guys and that 4v2 against uh, Arsenal. We couldn't even score out of that. So this is a really alarming statistic to even think about, that Liverpool as a team cannot score counter-attacking goals. We are only made for open play goals. And Salah was super underwhelming. Darwin Nunez, I think, was for me was the best attacker. He literally ran his lungs out throughout the pitch. He was troublesome in a wider position too, trying to make those overlaps, getting past the defenders, and he had 3-4 shots on target. The first goal that we scored, which McAllister scored again, he had an immense role in that. Salah's goal, he had an immense role in that too. So I think Darwin Nunez really showed up, even though he did not score any direct goals. But we ran out of lungs, man, and we had a midweek fixture. I know this sounds like an excuse, but to be honest, if a team gets 8 days to prepare for a major cup knockout fixture, I think that's a good amount of time, and that's a good advantage. And you guys showed up as a unit. You guys were literally pouncing on us. You guys were trying to be intricate and composed in moments. I felt the game was very haphazard, end to end. Yeah, that's what I felt.
No, definitely. And I was looking at the game and I was thinking to myself, persons made mention that Liverpool were a bit tired in the legs, and I was looking back at it and I'm saying, you guys did play against Manchester City, in which it was a high intensity game, and then you guys played in the midweek and Thursday in the Europa League. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about the lineup in which you
Yeah.
guys played.
We played the
However,
same starting 11 for the full 90. That's what Klopp's man management has to come into a little suspect here. Like, why would you play your starting 11 in that fixture when we had a 4-0 lead, right? Like, what is the point?
yeah, because I know that Liverpool doesn't have the depth like a Manchester City where they can like rotate and almost have a second team. I know that Liverpool doesn't have that luxury. So I was saying maybe they had a strong team in
Yeah.
midweek and then they come over on Sunday, traveling down to Manchester, all that traveling as well. So they would have been a bit tired. And yeah, looking back at the game, I don't think Liverpool were impressive, honestly. I think they played better team football than United. Obviously, they controlled possession more. But in terms of the individuals on the day, I think McAllister and Endo, I think they had a good game, honestly.
It is.
I think to an extent Van Dijk had a good game in terms of like Marshall in the back line. But Kwanzaa and who was playing on the right hand side again?
Joe Gomez.
Yeah, Joe Gomez. I think they had a really poor game. I think Garnacho really, outworked Joe Gomez on that
Yeah.
on Joe Gomez' right hand side, going down the left. I think Garnacho really worked his socks off today. He wasn't the most prolific in terms of scoring a goal or anything like that, but just dribbling, getting in behind, going to the band and putting crosses in, drawing fouls. He was just immense today, honestly. And eventually he reaped something from it where on the counter attack in the last minute of the game, he goes on the counter, passes the ball to Amadiala, and Amadiala scores the winner for Manchester United. And I also think, Salah once again wasn't really, he didn't really do anything today. And looking back, I'm just realizing as well.
Yeah. No, I bang on. I think you are absolutely right about Salah and all the other players you've spoken about. I think I'll start from where you left. You spoke about Joe Gomez. The first half, I think he struggled a lot. So even me and the other fans were thinking Klopp might bring in a substitution of Conor Bradley. But then Joe Gomez was still playing in that situation. And any sort of attack is the best form of defense. That's what Liverpool did. But the problem is, Klopp thought we've already won the match. He brought in the substitutions. He replaced Andy Robertson, Mohamed Salah, Dominic Soboslai when they were the ones who were actually creating that momentum. They were the ones who were acting as physical entities, blocking off anything that Diogo Dalot was even trying to bring to the game. I think Luis Diaz and Robertson literally nullified Dalot's effect in the first 90, mostly. Um, there were a few chances in the first half where United were getting on those transitions with Dalot, but then I saw just 20-25 minutes of prime Diogo Dalot showing up with those long passes, with those counters. He was involved in a few of them. But again, like you said, Luis Diaz was working the ball really well. He was trying to maneuver past Dalot, but there was nothing substantial near the final third. That's concerning, right? And the other situation, again, man management. Why would you fucking use those substitutes? Those substitutes performed horrifically. Like I would never expected a Harvey Elliott to do that, to fumble towards the end. You didn't even play the fucking full 90. How can you give the ball away like that? How can you do that? And then Darwin Nunez, I know he ran out of gas, and then that pass was so sloppy. These two goals being scored in a matter of 8 minutes, like appalling. I was shook. And to be honest, I was left amused by the end of it because even as spectators you start losing hope when you're like, oh, the game is nearing the penalties. You know what, I would have expected to put the competition to bed in the second half like Klopp expected, but that did not happen. This is Old Trafford. I think we became a little complacent, and I won't lie about it because I started celebrating this in the second half. I thought you guys are done and dusted, you guys are out, we've put a nip in the bud, and there's no coming back for Man United. But you clearly shocked me. You clearly shocked
No, I mean honestly, and I think listen, in football everything is hindsight. Klopp could have made those subs and you guys could have won the game and we wouldn't be having this discussion. And Tena could have made those subs as well and we lost the game and we could have said that, they were bad substitutions, seeing that Anthony and some of these guys aren't really going to do anything. Especially knowing the limitations of some of these players for United. However, I do think looking back, Tenag made the substitutions at the right time. I think what those substitutions brought was this different type of energy, especially Anthony to equalize, get us back into the game, bring it to extra time, and then Amad Diallo as well. If you look at him in isolation, other than the goal that he scored, he brought on enough energy to push this United team forward, especially on the counter attack. A
me.
lot of the times, um, against the bigger opposition teams, when we do take off Rashford and some of these guys, we actually don't have an outlet, and I think Amad Diallo provided himself as some form of outlet today in this game. So I just think, Eric Ten Hag got the substitutions right. Klopp was a bit premature. And honestly, I don't wrong Jurgen Klopp for being premature to an extent in terms of the subs, because my thought process was that we were actually finished in the second half. You know,
Right.
we scored in the 80 something minute. And before that, like each time United got the ball, I was like, come on, United, please just show me something, like at least get me back a goal, please. But then I was like, oh, it's just Anthony and some of these guys on the pitch. I'm like, I'm not really hopeful Liverpool is going to see this out, knock us out the FA Cup. And I was like, oh, Anthony, he scores. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then we have a game on our hands.
Yeah.
So I genuinely thought that we would have lost that game in the 90 minutes.
Yeah. But seriously, bro, like you mentioned, Amad Diallo, he had a 5% chance of converting that shot. And I thought he wouldn't convert that shot because I thought he went a little wide. Garnacho's pass wasn't like the right one. And then I thought Conor Bradley had the situation under control, but Diallo still, with that pinpointed accuracy, he found that far post. Like that was amazing. Like that game winning goal was fantabulous. And this is what he got the red card for, right? Taking the shirt off.
Yeah, and these are the games in which, in those moments, you don't want to take too much touches off the ball. You just want to shoot.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Rashford's equalizing goal to get it at 3-3. That could have been a ball in which he could have took an extra touch on and brought it straight forward to the keeper and then tried to shoot. But he took the shot one time as it came into his path, and it was a good goal by him after missing that sitter at the end of the
Yeah.
90 minutes.
Yeah, that was a really good goal, to be honest. Even that had just an 8% of chance of scoring. It seems really easy to our eyeballs when we see the game on the TV that this should be going in. But to be honest, to get that goal as well behind the net, it is difficult. And I think Rashford showed up in that situation. I think you could have put the game to bed even in the 90th minute. I think you got two crazy opportunities. That goal which Rashford targeted the far post and he missed it. Um,
Like
that was
honestly, I just want to make mention of something. I don't remember at what point we took off Rasmus Højlund, but I do believe that if Rasmus Højlund wasn't coming back from injury, I think that United would have won that game in 90 minutes, because
hmm,
I think some of the chances we were creating, sometimes there were half chances in the 18-yard box. But the difference is with Rasmus Hojlund compared to some of these players on the pitch is that he would try to get on the end of it. He would throw himself at these chances. He's kind of that dirty player who wants to get on the end of chances. Doesn't have to be pretty, can be ugly. Whereas I saw some United players today who got half chances, but they really didn't get on the end of it. They didn't stretch a leg. They didn't put the bodies in front of the defenders. And I think Rasmus Sanya would have made that difference if he was fit and could have played probably even the whole 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he just played 70 minutes. Even though he wasn't that overwhelming, I felt Hoyland could have offered more in the game, but I think the game was more about your wingers. Garnacho and Rashford were the ones who were threatening us a lot. And McTominay as well. One thing I didn't mention, I felt Kobe Minu and McTominay sort of lost that control in the midfield. Um, I went to Twitter Spaces. I went to different, podiums. I heard people talk about them playing a really good game. I don't think they had that great a game either. I think Liverpool, in fact, the players, our midfield were the ones. We were the ones who actually controlled the midfield in the second half. So I felt, um, those guys showed up majorly for sure. McTominay always shows up with the scoring ability, especially this season. I think he's already scored in double figures. But yeah,
Let me
man. I
say,
think
right?
sorry.
Pertaining to McTominay, for the player that McTominay is as a midfield player, McTominay has never had a good game as a midfield player across the season. For
Yeah.
what the role of a midfielder is, he has not had a good game in that position. The
Right.
instruction for McTominay is to get further up the pitch, get a goal in the last in the dying moments of the game. And this was a game in which the instruction once again is to venture further forward. And I saw fans complaining about the gap between the midfield and the defense. And there was a huge hole in that middle in the middle of the park. And we saw pictures of that as well and videos. And I think Kobe Mino had a better game than McTominay. But again, for what the role of a midfielder is, especially playing in the pivot, I think too many times they vacated that position and
Yeah.
there wasn't any discipline. But then again, sometimes I feel like that is down to the instruction of the manager because it is something that I've seen since the start of this season for United.
Right. I agree. I think that's absolutely right. I think McTominay, in fact, played as a striker in his youth. I think this midfield role, he got this when he was coming off the academy. Otherwise, I think he has those striker-esque instincts, getting into the box, barging in, and scoring those goals. I think he's got that
Oh,
striker's instinct. Yeah,
talking about chances, McTominay had a chance in the dying moments as well to score a goal.
he
I
did.
think, yeah, we hit you guys on a counter attack, and then I think it was Garnacho who crossed the ball, I believe, or someone,
Yes.
and McTominay slightly got in front of the Liverpool defender, but then the ball went just wide.
That had a 31% chance. Yeah, that was a really crucial opportunity. You guys could have literally turned the game around on so many occasions. You had opportunities. Like you had better chances than we did, for sure. I just felt, it's just so like football is such a weird, it's just like a weird movie, right? Anything can happen in the end. That's what really happened. I felt the chances that came for you came after the 86th minute, right? Because in the second half, you were totally nullified. And I was wondering, I was like, even the transitions that they're getting on, they're not feeling comfortable. They feel on the edge. And that's why we were so convinced that the game is done. But man, you turned up. And you know what? This is what heroism is all about, right? The fact that you could run that much till the 120th minute, the fact that you were activated, you were on your toes, the entire unit was there. They all showed up, and this, in fact, now I feel really happy that okay, you guys won the game in the right fashion. It wasn't something which we would be calling it a steal. It wasn't a steal. This was a terrific performance from Man United, and this is what you're known for: comeback kings.